Maybe start with Cole Reschny. What's the appeal you see there?
The one thing with Cole, he brings, the skill, hockey sense, that competitive drive. And as his year even went along, he just got better. And when it got to the crucial points in the playoffs, he was unbelievable. And then I was over at the U18s when he got there, and to come in a little late and to be one of the top players for Canada over there. And it just seems like his game is evolving and getting better. So, when you're looking for a center, and the one thing I think people talk about is offensive play, but it's his D zone play that really impresses me too. I mean, I think it's going to get undervalued a little bit, but because of all the offense, but he can play at both ends and super competitive. Not the biggest guy, but a guy that you can win with, and that's what we thought.
Sorry, when a guy goes and has a playoffs like that, what does that tell you as an organization?
Well, that's the hardest time of the year. I mean, when the playoffs come, we just saw it in the Stanley Cup playoffs. In playing all those years, I mean, you have to be able to take your game to another level, and it's obvious that he's able to do that in those big moments. And then even on the world stage, he was able to do it again and be one of the top players over there. So, I think for us, we're just excited to Western Canadian kid too, and that helps. I mean, I think that's something, getting to talk to him a little bit right after was nice. He seems excited. We're looking forward to getting him in here and can't wait to see him in person again.
I know it was best player available, not best center, but was it a relief to get a guy who is a center?
It was. It's the list worked out. Obviously there was a lot of centers gone too. So, you're thinking, okay, are we going to get a center that we want? And we would have taken a different position if it was on the list. But, yeah, it just fell into place for us. And it doesn't always happen that way. So it made it easy. We didn't have to make any kind of change it up, just do something differently. We just followed the list, and he was the guy that we were ready to take.
Was there any point where you thought maybe you were going to move up or anything like that? Any of that sort of dealings going on or no?
Tried a little bit, couldn't do it, but wanted to see if we could move up at a couple times, but it just it didn't work out. But I think we got two really good players in the first round, and so I'm excited.
What do you guys get against Colin Potter?
Like, speed alone is just. He's fast. I mean, fast, quick, electric. He's got high hockey sense. To be this young playing in college hockey, it's not easy. And, you think, there were times even when he's that fast, if the D could have hit him, especially at the U18s, breakaway. I just think it's hard when you have speed like that to, unless your D read it if you miss it, it's a split second. And where he would have had a breakaway, now he's almost got to stop or wait. And, probably for him at times, I could tell he was a little bit frustrated. But with that skill, and he's very competitive too. I mean, I think that's the one thing. I know, people are going to look at his size, but when you look at the overall game and watch him, from his hockey sense to his skill to his competitiveness, the only thing you're going to say is, well, he's not big. That would be it. But his speed is electric.
To be 17, what is the significance of being a younger player in the NCAA and being able to have some success in your first year there?
Well, it's when you're thinking about it, usually you figure, okay, when I played in college, everybody went in, finish high school, and you go right in. But now you have guys coming in 21, 22, 23. You're playing against, he could be 5-6 years younger than guys that he's playing against. In a league like that, when it's only on weekends, you really gear up, and it's hard. So for him to kind of step up and have the kind of season he had, it's impressive. And not easy, but, when you look at him, you're thinking, wow, where is he going to be? It'd be like stepping into the American League right away. You're playing against men, and that's what I think is so impressive for him. And to see him play with the U18s, like I said, I thought he was noticeable every shift, and it was a speed that caught my attention.
I think Cole said that he noticed that you guys maybe got to know him as a human being a little more than others. And I guess when all of these answers with these prospects kind of blend together, what stands out, or how do you get to know these young men beyond the hockey?
Obviously we get the little time at the combine, but we're trying to do all the research all year, talk to people that know them. We get to interview them during the year also, and just to get a feel. But it is it's nice when we have Jerome too, and he's got some insight to what type of person they are when your kids are playing with them, and they, those are the things that you really can't put a price on, to kind of be able to go and ask people that okay, what's he really like away from the ice? What's he hobbies? What does he do? And all those things, everything just checked out, and just the competitive side of him. And to see that playoffs was really, that kind of said, okay, you know what, he can take it to another level against some very good teams.
Sorry, I saw that some of the prospects they were asked like what type of animal you'd be, or kind of random questions of that nature. Is that something you guys rely upon a little bit?
No, we were joking. We were joking. Well, he's going to North Dakota, so it's going to be cold if we have to go watch you. What were you thinking? And that was, so we didn't go really hard on that front. We just wanted to get to know him and talk to him. We already liked the player. That was the thing. You like the player, and then you want to see how. But he was very at ease in the when we were kind of doing our meeting, and he just seemed at home there. He didn't bother him. He wasn't nervous. He was able to talk and kind of joke around with us and just be himself, which is nice, because some kids are very, they're nervous in those situations. He was very relaxed and really enjoyed our conversation.
A young man whose mother is battling breast cancer right now, and the character that he has. Can you just speak to the character that you've seen and you probably got from his parents as well?
Yeah, those situations, I've never gone through them, as a young man with, parents, and I can't imagine to be able to have that on your shoulders, and then, with the draft and what he's going through everywhere. But he just, it just says how high character person he is. And, it's never easy, but, I think he's going to be there for her, and, and for us. Now she's part of the family here too, so anything we could do too, we want to be there for them.
We see the sons of a lot of former NHLers, enter the league and get drafted. Potter's mom is a legend of the game in her own right. Pretty cool connection there.
It is. It's amazing. I think when you think about it, like what she has done for Wins Hockey is pretty special. And I think she passed that competitiveness off to him, because that was the one thing. I think he you could see he was getting, when things weren't going well or they weren't having success, like he was like, okay, I'm going to try to turn my game up even more and do it. But I don't think he did it in a bad way. He just was like, I want to make a difference out here. I want to do something to help this team win, shift in and shift out. And that's, that's when you're watching, you're like, okay, he wasn't slamming the door or anything, but you could tell he's like, I got to get going. If we're going to win, I need to be better. And I love that competitive side. I think when you think back, all the best players always push themselves to be better and do whatever it takes to win.
You project Potter as a center?
Hope so. Going to put him hopefully he plays center all year. That's the goal. Both these guys playing center. We don't have a lot of centers. Luke Misa played center. There's not a lot of guys in our organization that played center that we've drafted. So for me, you can always move them to wing, but I'd rather just right from the start not even put that in my mind. They're going to be centers.
We heard about sort of the variability in this draft after about the first 10 or 15. From inside the room, were you guys surprised at all about sort of how things unfolded, or was it sort of kind of what you expected?
We I think when we look at our list, most of the, not everybody. There was a couple outliers for us personally, but it was pretty close on. They went in different orders. Different teams like different players, but for what we were trying to do, and where we were in the draft, couldn't be more than happy with the players we got. We were excited. They were higher on our list maybe than other people, obviously, but to be able to get them was really a good feeling. And then especially when you're looking for centers, and like I said, we didn't go off the list. We just went right down the list. So now we can, regroup. The guys will get ready, and then we'll see, we're getting ready for tomorrow. We want to have just as much success tomorrow as we did today.